to Tea and Toast with Ghost. I am your host, Ghost. But anyway, everybody, if you have any, please remember that this live stream is a live Q&A. That means any questions you ask in excuse me, anything you ask in chat, I will answer. But please remember to keep things somewhat YouTube friendly here. Sadly, YouTube does not take kindly to some things. But let us continue where left off, shall we?
Oh, Mr. Blaskovich,
So,
I will need some welding equipment.
welding equipment, that's it.
Sid,
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out what exactly you were doing in this organization of yours. Was it some kind of supernatural engineering?
We don't believe in things supernatural, Mama. We believe in God. Das hier is it's a philosophy. It is a way of understanding God through knowledge. It is based on pure reason, pure rational thought, not supernatural focus.
So, in
So
other
everything you have
words,
created, what were you planning on
they
using all that stuff for?
studied science, technology, and everything.
Intent of use beyond the act of creation. We create the community.
As a means to get closer to God.
It's like mathematical equations. And each solved equation is
Interesting idea.
Someone's been studying up on helicopters.
It's hard to believe that the guy in this game
Oh, I'm sorry, it's just my
is
Wolfenstein.
the
It's gone.
the great grandfather of the Doomslayer.
I lost it when we got back. It's not worth much money. It's all I have left of it. Dear Sebastian.
So, yeah. I mean, it's definitely interesting to think how different they look. But the question that is of my curiosity is it this B.J. Blazkowicz that is the Doomslayer's grandfather? Or is it the...
What do you want, Blazkowicz?
Looking for the welder. You seen it?
No, I don't think so. Oh, wait a minute, no.
Or is
you're
it
right,
the
you're right.
or is
I
it
was meaning
the
to sort
original
out the railing
William
over by the
Joseph
secret fountain
Blazkowicz
entrance. Fucking thing fell out of my hand into the water. I'm a bit busy at the moment, but you
from
want the welder,
the
you
original
go right
3D
on ahead and start
Wolfenstein
swimming.
game?
The door to the secret fountain entrance is in the main room behind the table. Go over there and you should find the welder somewhere down in the water somewhere.
That's my wonder. Really is my wonder, but sadly I'm never going to. Well, yeah. Sadly, I don't think id is going to give us a answer to that. It'd be nice if they would, but I don't think they are.
sauce?
They never actually gave Max full background either. I believe. Could be wrong about that. Uh-oh. Oh.
Jesus Christ, Tekla! Why aren't you asleep?
I try not to sleep. No telling if I'll ever wake up. Let me ask you something. He will not understand. Where do you go when you lose consciousness? Why even bother?
What?
Surprise, surprise. You have a brain. The brain is a biological computational device running an electrochemical process. Your consciousness is an emergent property of said process. And face like that of a baby. In other words, you are your electrochemical process. Fundamentally, you have the experience of a continuous existence. You are you at this point in time, the same you as you were in the past. And you have a sensation of riding along this continuum of being you into the future. Do you follow me? Doesn't look like it. Continuing. On occasion, the brain may be subjected to trauma, temporarily discontinuing the electrochemical process, such as a box of being knocked out. As this occurs, the brain is no longer running its electrochemical consciousness generating process. Hence,
When you're
consciousness lost, you lose
asleep,
consciousness.
the
Pay attention
brain
now. At this
is
point in time, your
less
consciousness, all that is
active.
you, your continuum of being you has ceased to exist in the physical world. Now, moments later, the electrochemical
But
process may start up
the
again,
brain
allowing
still
consciousness
continues
to emerge
to
out of the
function.
information stored in the brain. But I wonder, where are you in the meantime?
It's actually an interesting bit
Must we not assume
of
that at the point when
science
consciousness is lost,
where they
the person
actually went
dies?
and studied
If any
what happens
consciousness
when the
appears or not
brain's
in the same
asleep.
brain is entirely inconsequential to the dead consciousness. The new consciousness is simply a new person. Because it emerges from the same brain, it has access to all
what
the memories
she's
and cognitive structures
saying
as the dead
here
consciousness. So it thinks it is the same
is-
person, but in actuality, it is just an imposter. Inheriting the body and brain from the previous, now dead
What's the
inhabitants.
nicest
Yes,
way to
like
say
talking to a
this?
child.
What about the soul?
So, I knew he was stupid. There's no such thing as a soul. We are machines of biology, nothing more, nothing less.
She's sitting there
The
trying
soul is simply a pointless concept dreamt
to
up by priests and fairy tale men. You're
to
an anomaly,
understand
an outlier.
how the
useless.
brain
A laughing angel
works.
is what you are.
But she's also in theory,
What to make of you, I do not know. Are you here to help me?
You seem beyond help.
it's
What are you working on?
not impossible
Nazi activity,
that according
behavioral
to
patterns,
Fro-
ours, theirs, doing
to
mass
Freud's
developing
theories
predictions. Where are they allocating resources? Where will they strike next? And after that, what are the larger trends
that
triggering their actions?
human
Figure out what choices they will
consciousness
make
is
before they
made
make
up
them.
of multiple
Talks as if the future
pieces.
is inevitable, as if all our choices have already been made.
However,
thing as free will.
peeling those
You know so
pieces
little of the world.
apart,
You want to be the captain of your fate, do you? This fight, you will lose. You cannot go to war against physics.
My actions are mine.
is impossible
I know that
because
much.
you need to
All
have
phenomena in
all
the
of
physical world
these
follow the simple rule of cause and effect.
because
Your
you need to
brain is
have
no
all
exception
of
to
these
the rule.
things
Know the causes, you
running
can
in
predict the
tandem
effects.
with
The same
each
is true
other.
for everything.
So what's with the arsenal?
Preparing for the end. I know where my road leads, and I am here to take
So,
as many Nazis with
in
me
a
as I can
way,
muster.
what she's saying
You have any experience with firearms?
Will you teach me?
is theoretically possible. However, the fundamental issue is that what we know of the brain and of psychological research it kind of dictates that what she's saying isn't impossible. The only problem is that we have no way of we have no way of actually knowing. It's not a comforting thought. But realistically, that's kind of all we got at this point. I really don't like saying that because I think we should strive to understand better. But psychology didn't go down that route. It went down. I mean, with the way psychology is going, it was always a soft science, but what they're doing now is it's just a disgrace to science, in my opinion.
My lord. You found it. Thank you.
So it's just, I mean, this is also kind of where turning a human into an artificial intelligence is possible. But even then, what scientists say will happen is you'll just create an electronic copy of your basically of your brain. Well, not, oh no, your brain, your mind, and that's basically, it's going to be a carbon copy of you. And if you want a good idea of what that kind of looks like, think like Cortana from the Halo series. Because you don't really get a good idea of what Cortana is until you read the Halo books. And you discover that Cortana is an AI made from Dr. Catherine Halsey, the scientist who originally created the Spartan 2s. And they had to flash clone her brain. Then they input all of Halsey's memories and everything. And then they use that to make an AI. And that's basically what Cortana and Weapon are. In a way, they're a digital clone of Dr. Halsey herself. But,
Help set locate any...
Sorry, pal. Don't mean to, derail your train of thought, but I need to get through that door.
Please. What I think about, I'd rather not think about.
That bad, huh?
Jay would think that when Jay seen what I have, your mind would break like an egg. How come it has not? Or maybe it has begun already and I just don't know it.
but
World changing. No matter who you are,
but
what
it's
you're made of.
definitely
We just gotta ride the whirlwind.
interest.
Make it through to the other side.
In kill all the Nazis?
interesting
All the
thing.
Nazis.
I would drink with you in celebration when that time comes.
Your honor.
I mean, even Dr. Halsey's opinion of Cortana reminded her of when she was a lot younger and just incredibly brash and very egotistical. Really, Cortana really reminded her of her younger self. Wasn't exactly happy with that, too. But she accepted it, I guess is the nice way to say that. Yes, an undesirable child. Even the people who agree are having doubts a little bit, aren't they? Sadly, the one thing they never talk about during World War II, where all this is based, where this idea and philosophy is based off of, was that the German people who disagreed with Adolf Hitler sadly, as soon as it was made clear that there were those in Germany who disagreed with him, they shipped them off to the death camps too. Oh, what movie was it? I forget off the top of my head, but it was based off of a real story where... Oh, wait, that's it. I think it was Project Valkyrie. Where a bunch of high-ranking officers decided that Adolf Hitler's vision was bad for Germany, and, you know, and ultimately Hitler needed to go bye-bye. And they nearly succeeded. The only problem was is they got caught. And they were all executed. Are you sure about that? there's one thing to assume where people are, and there's another to assume they're not. But a lot of history classes do not cover the fact that there were a lot of German citizens who were not okay with what Adolf Hitler had planned. Because it was actually noted by the German aristocracy, those who were it was actually well noted in the history books that those who actually had the power to stop Adolf Hitler, he had them killed before they even had a chance to stop him. Not too many history teachers are interested in teaching that little nugget of history, because it tends to show that not all Germans were bad and not all Germans were Nazis. Although the thing that actually doesn't get a really good rap was that Hitler was actually Austrian. He wasn't German. The thing that was funny was that, like, I'm trying to remember what it was. I think it was like 2030 or so. I think it was in the 70s or so. People got curious and started looking into Adolf Hitler's background. And they went, I'm not even sure if Austria is still a country anymore off the top of my head now that I think about it. But they went to what you could say was formerly Austria, take your pick if you will here. I need to use the restroom, I apologize, I will be right back. Okay, sorry about that, but when nature calls, nature calls. But locked from the other side. But during the 70s, they went looking for Adolf Hitler's family. And when they went to the hometown where the genealogical records said where he was from, eventually they found this little old woman who was like 5'1" or something, or 5'2", and you know, she was just being around, being like being the neighborhood. Grandmother is the best way to say this. Being the neighborhood grandmother. And the people came up to her and they just kind of looked at her. And they asked if her last name was Hitler.
For a lousy welder. Next time you go get it, Fergus.
And she kind of gave him this look that I knew this day was coming.
If we're going to steal a Nazi U-boat, I need set to repair that thing on the table. Help him, Mrs. Burke.
That's all I need. Actually, would you deliver this note to Anya? She will need the frequency of the transponder to track the thing.
And she had a married name now.
Do you have a
And she even got rid of him. Oh, uh-oh. I need to censor this.
Wieder mit dieser Unsinn. Mein Gott, was ist nur los mit diesen Leuten?
Here we go.
With you. Like this. Always.
It will happen.
Okay, there we go.
Believe it.
Oh, that could have been bad.
But not today.
Hopefully I don't get in trouble for that.
Listen to my voice, Blazkowicz. Where you are now, inside sewage tunnels, the intestinal tracts of the city. And
I forgot about that scene. I remember the first scene. Forgot about the second scene.
The
My
most
bad.
secure site in all Berlin, the central munition stockpile of the Nazi regime. The things we could do with those weapons. Riot. We revolt. This access route is waterlogged, impenetrable to outsiders. There's only one way to breach across the perimeter. It's a tunnel glider. The Nazis use them for maintenance down there. We've been trying for years to bring it up to working order. This is the first phase of the plan to gain access to sets underwater theaters.
But what she revealed about
in the Berlin catacombs. Anya has agreed to track your position.
Adolf's childhood wasn't really like negative, because they wanted to understand how the way he came it was. And ultimately they discovered that he had a pretty normal childhood for the time period. Although he was one of those boys that you encountered, was one of the boys that
Don't lose track of the tunnel glider. It's your only source of oxygen.
I was a kid. The red tide was rising. Went in the water on account of disobeying father. Felt like my skin was on fire. Like my skin was on fire.
Let's see, I don't remember
at Eisenwald prison now.
here.
Caroline told me a few inmates tried to escape through the sewer system with some valuables a few years ago. They didn't make it very far.
And I think, yeah, there's a gold statue somewhere around here. I don't remember where it is, though.
Some areas might be too narrow for the tunnel glider. You may have to swim.
But, the thing that was, and ultimately, they're not really sure, ultimately his childhood, they didn't really find anything that made him the person who he became. It actually bugged some investigators that he was a fairly normal kid. Because it also came out to, okay, how did this seemingly normal child become this way? Although later on modern doctors would go back and watch footage near the tail end of the war and they realized he actually had Parkinson's disease. Although that didn't explain why he did what he did, but it did give some insight that more than likely he had been suffering from the symptoms of Parkinson's for years. Not to mention the fact that he also had other issues too. I mean, just some of the physical problems he had would have dissuaded some people from following him. But more than likely, the Parkinson's was a
came up covered in leeches.
Side effect of being exposed to the chemical warfare agent in the trenches. I mean, people will sit there and say, "Are you saying that the chemicals he was exposed to in World War I caused what he did?" No, I'm not saying that in the slightest.
I have something I want to tell you. I've been reading this diary my grandmother gave me. It's my cousin Ramona's diary. She used to work with us at the asylum. She's dead now, but she had many secrets inside of her, and there was no one she could trust to keep them. So she wrote them all down. I will radio the diary entries to your audio log. If you find the time, you can listen.
But no, the thing that a lot of people don't understand is just the long-term effects that chemical warfare agents have. I mean, just as an example here, Saddam Hussein, he hit a town in his own country. I can't pronounce the name, but I believe it's something called like Hulabja or Harabja. And, you know, a lot of people assume that Saddam Hussein was just a crazy dictator. And he was, but, you know, he also, let's see, because in Iraq it was, I believe it was the Shia and the Kurds.
The section you are in now, it's been out of commission for a long time, but some machinery might still be manually operable.
And Saddam Hussein was, or was it the Shia and the Sunni? I forget. I forget which one it was off the top of my head here. But Saddam's rivals within his own country, he actually dropped blister agent, although if memory serves, it was specifically mustard. It was mustard gas, specifically. And he had been bombing his own people. And eventually, he got sick of them sheltering in place and hunkering down.
You will have to find a way to reach the platform on the other side.
So he actually became famous for being the first ruler of a country who bombed his own people with chemical warfare agent. Where did I pick that up? But he became the first ruler of a nation to use chemical weapons against his own people. And the people who survived that attack, because you can survive chemical warfare agents without treatment, but it's what's the nicest way to say this? It's not a fun process. Because blister agents won't outright end you, but they will make your life incredibly miserable for a very long time. And if you think that the people just who didn't pass on, you know, they lived a normal, healthy life after the fact, I got some bad news for you. That's not what happened. And there's also the fact that the children who were born to the survivors, to put it nicely, a large majority of those children were born deformed. Missing limbs, missing bones, missing an eye. I wish I was kidding when I say this, but sadly I do not jest. I do not jest in the slightest. You know, sadly, Adolf Hitler was exposed to these same agents during World War I, when there was even less medical knowledge known at the time of his exposure and what it could do. I mean, heck, there's even veterans who went into Iraq who got exposed to nerve agent and right now I believe there's an ongoing lawsuit to unclassify that little tidbit of information, so that way the veterans who were exposed, they can get treatment for it from the VA. I think that was that. The thing that's actually ironic was that was actually something that President Obama classified. Why he did it, I honestly couldn't say. I have theories, but nothing solid. Okay. Oh, there's my map. Finally. I'm looking for that thing. So it says I need to go back down the tunnel. I'm not going to get into political theory at the moment. This is where I need to go. Yep, this is where it wants me to go. There we go. There we go. Oh, come on.
Swam across
I wanted to
40
jump.
Had over 10 soldiers. It wasn't as dark as this. Locked. Gotta come up with a way to clear the opening.
Alright. There we go. But if anyone wants to hear my political theory, go ahead and drop it in the comments. If not, just listen to me rattle and prattle along then. But the overall thing that was actually really sad was, oh, that's from the Wyatt timeline. But, you know, sadly, Germany gets a really bad rap for World War II.
Age 19. Dove down the well to salvage
And
father's watch.
some of
But it
it
wasn't as deep as this.
is earned. But not all of it, because not every German was on board. I mean, if every German had been on board, then there could be some justification to say all. But sadly, the historical record shows us otherwise. Now, personally, I don't think that's fair to Germany. For the reputation they got during World War II. To be perfectly honest. But then again, you know, well, no. There will be those who say, why didn't they stand up and fight back?
William, directly above you are the
No.
catacombs. There's an elevator
Sadly.
taking you right into the weapons depot.
Why did I go in there for when there's nothing in there? Huh. Before I go, let me double check and make sure that I'm not missing anything. And I missed another health upgrade. Wonderful. There was a safe that I missed. Oh.
Excellent, Captain Blazkowicz. You are now inside the weapons depot. This is the second phase of the plan to gain access to Set's underwater safekeep. In these munition stocks there is a cargo train. The train is packed full. Small arms, artillery shells, torpedoes and such for distribution to the Nazi war machine. You will steal this train. Small arms we can use to strengthen our fighters, but the real target is securing the torpedo delivery. This will allow you to board and seize control of a Nazi U-boat. First things first, steal the train. Locate the train.
What does the strobe upgrade do? Oh, okay.
The abandoned underground train station north of there. Our people will be waiting for you at the station. Klaus will give you further details on the ground.
But sadly, some of that bad rap is earned, and in other cases it's not. But I can already hear that people are saying you're a sympathizer when I'm not. I'm just pointing out that historically the image you get is not actually what's real. Okay, where are my perks looking like? See, throwing knives from stealth, cover, get 5 within 10 seconds. Mechanicals with grenades, indirect drops. Alright, so let's try for my last stealth perk. How often as an enemy do you look down? Not often enough. Sadly, I want to take that shot. But it's a bad idea. Those two are really close together. What? What did I see? this one count from cover by chance? Looks like it. What's this? Enigma code piece. It's funny when you do playthroughs, when you start playing through. Nope. That did not count. Maybe I'm not supposed to have the suppressor on. Why you would ever have a sidearm with a 3-round burst is beyond me. I mean, it's an interesting idea, but still. The heck? Well, there was the glitch for you. Jump. Seriously. But nuggets of history that school won't teach you is always interesting. And for those wondering why schools won't teach them to you, sadly, it's because it defeats the narrative that Nazis... Well, it's not wrong way to say that. Way wrong way to say that. No. It's not that the Nazis weren't bad. Well, no, the Nazis are bad. Let's get that straight. What they did is bad. But the thing that was actually covered up, if you will, here, was that they libel, that was basically the slander of the German people. That every German was this way, when the truth was that was very much not the case at all. In fact, it's fairly dishonest that they teach things this way. Not to mention the fact that if you want to be technically speaking, how things are taught nowadays, it actually does a little bit of harm. And why does it do harm? Because what happens when people learn all this stuff at the classroom, and let's say they encounter people and they actually learn that not every German, it's like, wait a minute, this goes against everything I was taught. And it kind of reinforces to not believe everything you hear, which is good and bad at the same time. Why is it bad? Because it kind of destroys your faith in the education system. However, the good thing is that it teaches you to actually ask some basic questions like, who, what, where, when, why, and how. Now, personally, from my perspective, it's good and bad, but the fundamental problem is there are those who take advantage of it. And when I say there are people who do take advantage of it, I do mean they take advantage of it.
Our ground team is in position by the abandoned train station north of your location, William. They will meet you when you get there.
And what do I mean by there are people who take advantage of it? I mean, you have people who have declared themselves socialists. most people don't even realize that Adolf Hitler himself is a socialist. Well, was a socialist. Now, this is where most people will say he was not a socialist. And my answer to that is go look up what the acronym that for the Nazi Party was. Because basically it stands for the Nationalist Socialist Workers' Party of Germany. Don't believe me? Look it up. It's even on the damn Wikipedia page. Most people won't like that, but it's the truth. Adolf Hitler was a socialist. In fact, he was a National Socialist. And what's the difference between a Nationalist Socialist and just a regular socialist? Not much, to be honest. But if you wanted to be But if you really want to be technical, the real major difference is that basically during World War One, I forget his name, but he was Italian. There was this Italian socialist who noticed that that the socialists fought for their nation. The English socialists fought for England. That didn't count. But basically, the English socialists fought for England. The Italian socialists fought for Italy. And the English socialists fought for England. The French socialists fought for France. And he couldn't wrap his mind around the idea that a socialist would fight for their nation. And eventually, by going through this, he came up with the idea for National Socialism. I need to use the restroom again. I do apologize, but I will continue talking after I go to the bathroom. But sadly, that was the thing that
Our ground team is in position by the abandoned train station north of your location, William. They will meet you when you get there.
was basically covered up. Oh, finally it worked. But sadly, even in the US, they've actually gone to, well, they won't admit this, but there is actually a lot of truth to the fact that they actually have been concealing that Adolf Hitler was a socialist. They just said he was a nationalist. And I can even remember that when I was in school, when they covered World War II. You think they covered the fact that Adolf Hitler was a socialist in the classroom? Sadly, they didn't. They actually did conceal it from us. When in the 90s and the 2000s. I don't know about modern times, but I'm pretty sure that hasn't changed either. That they've concealed that little fact. And why have they concealed it? Well, frankly, from my opinion, it's because they don't want to give socialism a bad name. As if they have to admit that Adolf Hitler is a socialist. That creates a lot of problems for the people who believe in socialism. Because who wants to follow the same political ideology as Adolf Hitler? I find that a lot of people don't. Take to put these things down. But yeah, that's actually something that social people who believe more in Karl Marx than they do believe in National Socialism want something very much concealed and covered up. Because, surprise, surprise, a lot of people don't like it. When you can destroy the belief in our political beliefs, we could say here. So, socialists don't like it when you point out that Adolf Hitler was a socialist. I mean, there was a reason why he and Mussolini got along. I mean, besides the fact that Adolf Hitler, after World War II, did the whole struggling artist thing. I mean, not World War II, World War I. He did do the whole struggling artist thing. But part of the reason why he and Mussolini did get along was due to the fact that they were both nationalist socialists. Although, I don't believe Japan was. part of that little clique of National Socialists. I could be wrong, but I don't believe that I am. But little history facts they don't teach you. Surprise, surprise. Although I doubt anyone would believe me unless you're a really big history buff like me. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure I'd be called a sympathizer when I'm actually not. But this is how you get, but this is how some people get their reputations destroyed. The thing that was actually really sad was it happened to Jordan Peterson. I mean, given how he is, and he even read what was that book called he constantly referenced in his early days? Oh yeah, that's right, it was the Gulag Archipelago. And it talked about the Gulag treatment in Soviet Russia. Again, giving socialists that bad rap they don't want because it's bad for whatever socialists have planned.
You are clean. Anyone following you?
Basically.
No. What do you mean no? Yes?
I have a friendly face. Delivers to the Nebelyard. Alles in Ordnung, Horst?
Du, nimm nicht so viele Kisten, sonst merken die, dass etwas nicht stimmt.
Ja.
They supply the torpedoes to all the Nazi U-boats in Europe.
You will hide in the torpedo.
Horst will slip it back into main supply.
And you will wake up on a U-boat for breakfast time.
Once we have a U-boat, we take it to Set's secret safekeep, yeah? The sailors,
Get in the way. Bang bang soda pop.
Come on, man. I'll fuck the pig, you just hold the ears.
Okay, career Johnny. Get in the torpedo. Once you board the U-boat, patch this thing into the communication room and raise the antenna buoy. We need radio contact.
Dark dreams seem to fade. Too far out of reach. For now, I just miss the light.
Might as well just sleep for a while you can. That suppressor on. How do you not hear that and be like, what's going on? Seriously. Like, how does nobody notice that part of your U-boat just went dark? Think about that for a minute. Nobody notices the just all of a sudden just the pink mist that's like, wait, what the heck was that? I should investigate. Do you know why you will never quit, Mr. Wick? Because you are what you are. You sure this man's not a super soldier and not just some army ranger? That's like the greatest irony of a lot of FPSs. Because at least Doom Guy, when he was Doom Guy, he did get boosted by the power-ups that you found in Hell. And then later in the Divinity Machine, he became the Doom Slayer. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna sit here and discredit the Army Rangers here. They do a damn good job of what they do. But still, they're allowing, it's like, oh look, you're Solid Snake from Metal Gear. Make it make sense. Crap on words. Thank you. One more there. And 70 more here. Wonderful. So let's get my last one here. Okay. Where the heck is he? That's what you. I mean, a corpse is a corpse, but still, a little bit of respect. Got a hit. Got it. Don't have to with you. Indirect from shrapnel. How? I've done that. It still doesn't count. go. Whee! Wait. Got that? Oh, darn it.
Achtung! Ab sofort melden sich alle wichtigen Besatzungsmitglieder auf der Brücke. Kontaminierungskorps, bewaffnet euch und kümmert euch um den Eindringling. Wir bleiben komplett abgeriegelt, bis die Lage geklärt ist. Das ist ein Befehl!
Just wondering what makes you think that's going to help. Nope, that didn't count. Wonderful. Oh, come on, I didn't even hit him. I'll agree with you there. They are. That one counted. Underground issues. Of course I do that to myself. Oh, sorry. throwing a grenade. Okay, so let's see. 6 more. Oh. I just need to maximize the marksman and... Okay, well, let's use this thing for now. I know the charge isn't full, but still. Dang it. The thing is that I need to up my gear. Whoa, what the? Thought he was gone. That was a surprise. So I need one more with this. Damn it. Because that one I'm gonna have to use the marksman. Get it. Okay. Yes, one man confined in a narrow metal tube. What can one man do? Can't do anything about that one. That's one away. What is this perk unlock? Increase the chance of dual. Okay. So it increased all my mag sizes and that one down too. Okay, so let's. clever. Who were taking pot shots. Those are guys. You eat this. Come on. Have all day. Come on. Surprise.
That's that. Got a plug in Klaus's radio thingamajig. See if my people are on the airwaves.
Okay, and supposedly there's a hidden secret around here that I'm not aware of. See if I can find that real quick. Oh, I may have already bypassed it. Well, shoot. Let's see if I can find this secret real quick. Oh. That's after. That's actually after the U-boat mission, actually.
The antenna buoys. Buoy. Buoy. Silly one.
Channel open, Blazkowicz. We are inbound. Tracking your signal. You know what you have here, Captain Blazkowicz? This is the Eva's Hammer, the crown jewel of the Nazi U-boat fleet. There's a nuclear cannon on this boat. Correction. Our nuclear cannon. Some backbone on this here magnificent fucking U-boat, Captain. I'll give him that. Took the decryption keys to the nuclear cannon to his grave.
It won't fire?
Well, not the nuclear warheads, no. There I was, pining to ram a big proper atom bomb down Death's throat.
So let's find decryption keys.
The actual physical nuclear decryption keys are not kept on planet Earth. They're stored in the Nazi lunar base.
They're on the lunar base?
They're required to learn them by heart. Well, the lunar base is the most secure facility the Nazis have. It's where they do all their top secret research these days.
What's your point?
Caroline and Anya are working on a bucket HQ. Engelach, we are here.
Singing in Yiddish.
My father taught me this rhyme as a child. Now many other songs for different places.
Oh no, cock-a-doodle-doo. You fancy that open something? You should move out of the way. No. Oh, fuck me in the head.
Can you feel the earth? Lovely. This entryway hasn't been used for centuries. Step inside.
This is amazing.
Mr. Blazkowicz, please, take us inside.
Not gonna lie, this is amazing.
How do you get on the stage? Let's get the show on the road. I tell you, I have waited for this moment. There was many among us who wanted to even the balance of the war. But things happened fast. Our gatekeepers were murdered and some were exiled. But some succeeded. Yeah, we have begun to transfer much knowledge to the governments who fought the Nazis, and there was hope. For a time, there was hope. Till the Nazis dropped the atom bombs. Well, there was no hope there. I remember when the Das Jugend would gather.
When was this place created? Because this level of technology.
The channels of nature was open, and now, I think we may be the last to visit.
It was about as.
Here we are.
Is pretty close to modern times. We can make.
Just step inside. Yeah? There's a transition chamber. The main hall.
Wait. What do you mean, warning?
Yeah, warning. The instructions are old and faded. Let's go. This we used to get to the main hall. I don't recognize these symbols. Oh, that was.
I mean, we have similar technology in this, but. When was this place created?
Powerful. It's magnetic research.
Magnetic research.
Huh?
Jesus Christ! What the hell is this thing?
This is the secret vault out there. Now, first, we need to activate the magnetic fields and create an entryway. Now, this machine here, it controls the electromagnetic
So this is an
fields.
Yes. Interesting.
Okay, are you ready, Ingele? 1, 2, 3, go! Here's something. So hold this please for me. Oh yes, Mr. Blazkowicz, show me your laser weapon, please. There. This is Das Jugend prism to make your laser beam attuned to the proper frequency. And you should be able to charge the magnetic coils.
Charge the magnetic coils.
Up there. I will work to get this thing going.
What kind of place is that?
This is
Whoa.
us up, Shimshin.
I've already unlocked this achievement. That's you're supposed to get here.
Schlecht, Sethroth. It's schlecht. No, Yingale? Tell me, Sethroth is not a genius. Gentlemen, this is it. Go ahead, look around. Anything that is useful to you, you may take. Just remember, you are in a sacred space. Wait, what?
Hello, Mark. Thanks ever so much for the new socks. They're right warm and a snug fit. Yeah, I'm doing well. Lots of interest ever happens around these parts. Today I landed a helicopter on a big Nazi nuclear submarine aircraft carrier. After which I donned a deep-water diving suit, swam down a Bristol Trench in the middle of the Atlantic fucking Ocean. Don't wait the morning with the details. Long story short, we're now standing inside a secret vault full of things so magical and nature. The mind has no recourse but to shudder in bewilderment. Of course, I'm accompanied by a Nazi-killing lunatic and some kind of genius wizard who claims to be on a first-name basis with God Almighty himself. Oh, well, we can only hope for more stimulating turn of events in the future. Good luck to everyone back home.
Roger. I'm sufficiently impressed.
Oh, this. Push that in. What's this? Portable reactor upgrade. Okay, so it recharges better.
Yeah, Blasco. Can't seem to get this thing to work. I think I need a round-like object to insert into this slot here. See if you can find it somewhere.
Oh, it's a better recharge. Okay, that works for me. That's a dodecahedron.
Yeah, BJ,
And there's
bring
the
that
clue
odd-like thing
to
you
start
picked up.
this whole
I think
thing.
it's supposed to fit into the slot here.
When was this place created?
Blaskowitz, bring that orb you found over here, insert it in...
Come in.
Push.
Come in.
Right, what you got, Caroline?
We have a lead on those
Is that a
decryption keys for the nuclear
dodecahedron?
cannon.
Nope, that's a 12-sided.
It's a troop transport train recalled from the African front. On board is the chief research scientist for Death's Head's latest generation super soldat program. He's leaving for the Nazi lunar base tonight to oversee the launch of the new super soldat.
We intercept the troop transport train, locate the chief research scientist, steal his identity, and use it to permit Blazkowicz to take his seat on the lunar shuttle. Once at the lunar base, you need to find the nuclear decryption keys and bring them back to Earth.
How to intercept a high-speed Nazi troop transport train?
Best side will be the Gibraltar Bridge.
Okay, but how?
Set, any ideas?
We can use this one. This is very, very powerful. Where in English you can call it, I mean, how's it? Spindly torque.
Spindly
You
torque.
drop this in front of the train. This will stop anything.
Excellent. Leave right away. That's their
Hello,
train.
power suit, baby.
I know what you're thinking, Blasco. No chance. I'm keeping this thing.
You give that to
You
Caroline.
give that to Caroline.
Fucking look at it! Damn monster of a bridge! The Nazi highway to the African front! Fucking genocide enabler!
The train should be arriving at the bridge any moment now.
You heard there, Blasco? Stand by!
Alright, Yingle, let's see what this thing does. So it's using a magnetic sphere to hold it down. Hold it.
Have you ever seen
mayhem and destruction like what you always do. It's just you doing you.
Holy cow.
Caroline, see that? That train's going nowhere. I'm gonna drop off the crazy American. He's got that angry look on him again.
Roger that. Keep up the good work.
Hey, Blasco, see that railway wagon?
Can I?
Dangling over the edge like a bundled up horse's head on a...
Can I have that, please? Just one? Just one. I can do all kinds of things with that. I shoot you not. I can do all kinds of things with something like that. Oh. Well, bye-bye. Well, he didn't want that to fall on him, and I don't blame him, but looks like that didn't happen. Alright, everybody. I'm going to have to cut things off here. I'm already over 2 hours, so thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I will see everybody next week. And please come with questions. I always welcome questions. Thank you very much, and have a good night.